Sup everyone, welcome back to another video, and today we have the banners, right? This is the kind of banner that actually on first glance looks to be promising and well designed around the 5 stars on the banner. But the thing to say about both of these banners is regardless of whichever one you're going to be pulling on, you have decent 4 stars to facilitate the 5 stars that you will be pulling for. However, unlike certain previous banners, not all the 4 stars lean into the strength of the 5 stars. If I want to break it down quite simply for you guys, the Wanderer banner is just Wanderer and Faruzan. These two characters really won't benefit your Wanderer too much. And if you don't have Ito, unfortunate to say, Goro likely will only be working with some other Geo carries if you plan to build them, right? So basically, you're telling me you're going to pull for the Wanderer, build him up, and then if you get Goro, you're also going to put Goro towards some other Geo hyper carry team without Ito. Unless you have Ito already and you're pulling for Wanderer, then yeah, I guess it's a pretty big win for you. You get Goro, you win. You get Faruzan, you win. If you get Wanderer, right? Then that just leaves Yanfei. Yanfei is kind of that weird character out in this scenario. She doesn't really fit into many teams apart from some of the niche ones that she herself is in. So that's going to be that really on the surface level for these two banners. If you get unlucky, you were pulling for Wanderer, you got Wanderer before you get a Faruzan, and you got like 3 Goros and 2 Yanfeis, it could happen. I'm just saying. So pull at your own risk. Honestly, this feels like quite the risky banner, especially knowing 4 stars nowadays. You can't get away with just one copy. It's always like C1 or C2, and some people prefer to go to C4. If you want to fully maximize their kit, of course, C6 is the way to go. Okay, talking about Ito, these two banners really are in direct competition with each other for both of these characters' playstyles as well. Ito is like your well-known traditional Geo hyper carry. Along with Goro, he can be put into a 4 Geo team or a 3 Geo plus 1 flex team. Your choice, your call. But really, nowadays, Geo isn't sitting in a pretty spot apart from Ito teams. I mean, Zhongli is a great shielder and all, but we rely more on Geo characters' specific kits and their uniqueness as opposed to Geo as an elemental reaction. Now, bouncing back to the Wanderer here, comparing Ito to the Wanderer, as you guys can see, the Wanderer's playstyle is much more dynamic, and in a way you could say it's ever-changing, because with one of his passives you would ideally want different elemental typings to be paired with the Wanderer, essentially opening him up to more team options. Now, yes, theory crafters, people are generally just gonna come up with the best possible 2 characters that will be slotted into Wanderer teams apart from Wanderer and Faruzan. That's without a doubt. But nonetheless, it doesn't take away from people's potential to experiment with other and less optimized options. Whereas if you pull for Ito, it's incredibly difficult to experiment outside of Geo mono teams. I mean, of course, those options exist, and you're never really truly boxed in when it comes to Genshin Impact. You can play extremely non-optimized teams, but what I'm saying is non-optimized Ito teams are going to have a much harder time to have pulled off than non-optimized Wanderer teams. So take that into consideration before you go all in on these characters. One of the golden rule, not just to Genshin Impact but for all gacha games, is pull for the new and not for the old. And we did say that when Ito first came out, that you should probably pull for Ito and not Xiao. And now that Scaramouche is here, we can really honestly say the same. If you just want to go in blind, the best bet is always to pull for the newer characters and not for the older character. Now, we are expecting Scaramouche is going to be somewhat of a better unit even compared to Xiao. They might have similar damage because it's very easy to scale damage, but when it comes to utility and also vertical scaling, when it comes to comfort of use, ease of use, and just overall potential, it's difficult to give Xiao a W over the Wanderer or Scaramouche you want to call him, because the advantage that Scaramouche has is an extra year's worth of game design and experience under the belt of the people working at Hoyoverse. So he's just gonna be a better character, unless they're just grossly incompetent at character design, which I don't know. Some people might be like, yeah, I think Scaramouche might just be worse than Xiao. Who knows? If you want me to put a bet on it, I think Scaramouche is going to be better than Ito, better than Xiao. So with that said, let's move on to the weapon banner. Now with the weapon banner, I mean, what can I say? It's really just these 2 5-star weapons, and the 4 stars I really don't want to talk about it. It's not that good. Sure, Sack Sword is amazing for beginners, but Fav Bow, Fav Greatsword, Wavebreaker is like decent in some characters' hands, but it's like there's always options to replace it. It's not like you have to get Wavebreaker, you have to get Favonius, stuff like that. The only 4-star weapon on this banner that for certain characters you likely really want is the Sack Sword, and even the Sack Sword can be replaced on some of the characters by the Favonius Sword as well. So none of these weapons really is something that is extremely desirable for free-to-play low spenders, even whales. And then moving on to the 5-star weapon. Yes, Ito's sword is amazing. It's a very strong sword, but the problem is that this sword, although is amazing on Ito and characters that scale off of defense, not so good of a weapon on characters that don't scale off defense. Yes, it's still a good stat stick, but generally this weapon isn't really high up on the tier list outside of Ito and Noelle, so making it essentially kind of a niche weapon, right? And then we have to look at Scaramouche's weapon. Now, yeah, stat-wise, this weapon is pretty decent. It has crit damage substat scaling, and it has attack speed boost as well as an insane normal attacking boost. However, just think right now, out of all the Catalyst users, how many are extremely heavily reliant on normal attacks apart from Scaramouche? You got 5 seconds. Right, you might have come up with a couple. Some would say Ningguang, some would say Klee, but you guys got to understand those characters have auto attacks in their combo sequences, but they're not strictly auto attack reliant characters, and attack speed necessarily won't help them as much as it would help a character like Scaramouche. So the effect of this weapon really only benefits Scaramouche and a little bit on the other Catalyst users. I'll be honest, there just aren't that many amazing Catalyst users. A lot of people say, oh, Yanfei. You're damn right. Yanfei could benefit from this weapon too, but how many people are going to be pulling 5-star weapons for Yanfei, and do I really need to be advising people and Yanfei mains on how to play their character? I think most Yanfei mains would know what's good for them and what's not, and if you're really truly a dedicated Yanfei main, it's very hard to justify pulling for this weapon outside of being an exclusive main to a certain character. If you really wanted to nitpick, yeah, it's just like when people said, oh, the Red Horn Stone Thresher is good for Ito, but not so much some of the other characters. And the Noelle mains jumped out. It's like, oh, best in slot for Noelle. It's like, yeah, if you're a dedicated Noelle main, no brainer, pick up the Red Horn Stone Thresher. But this is a similar situation. The Tula Remembrance weapon is going to be great on Wanderer and likely Yanfei, but apart from these few characters, it's difficult to slap this weapon on all Catalyst users and have them shine just as well. This ain't no universal weapon. It's a good stat stick at the worst and best in slot for like 1 or 2 characters in the game. Okay, with all that said, thank you guys for watching. Please comment down below who you're going to be pulling for. I'm going to be pulling for Scaramouche. I don't know if I want to pick up his weapon. We'll have to see how the Scaramouche summons go. So yeah, until next time, I urge y'all to stay safe. Peace, bye.